Hey, this is Glenn. Welcome to another episode of Difficult Questions. This one, are you fat? This comes from all of that criticism about the statue in New York City of the black woman who apparently wasn't wearing a bra and was overweight. And this is what are we saying about society? And I wanted to give my input on it because unlike other difficult questions, I think I've got something to share that is a result, and it may help people. It may not. So we'll see. Because we like criticizing others, and we like talking about people, and we like talking about how people look. People inspire us. We like putting people down. I still don't know why we like that. But I was an overweight kid. I was not athletic. And when I was about 10 years old, my mother put me on Weight Watchers, which was devastating. I remember my cousin, who was a girl, telling me that I should be wearing a bra because I had bigger boobies than her, which again was devastating. People just talking trash about your weight. And I got on Weight Watchers because my mom told me to, and I lost weight. And I have always been able to kind of take that criticism and deal with it. It doesn't devastate me. It's not nice. But then I realized that I am a person in a society. So in some way, I feel that with that social responsibility I have of being part of a society, my weight is also a social responsibility. As well as I've taken all of the health lessons. Because I wasn't athletic, my parents said, you have to do something. And so they got me into swimming, which meant that my fat body was in a Speedo suit, which was also not great. But I was harder on myself than the kids around me. And that was very fortunate. And all my whole life, I've been big. I'm 6'2", so I can carry weight, but I have been always struggling with weight. In graduate school, I got probably my heaviest, 230 pounds. And you look at me and I'm big. So I was probably the most I've weighed, but I've always tried to maintain around 200 pounds. And depending on my age, depending on how my lifestyle is going, that has fluctuated. So I have this constant concern of if I'm fat or not. And then when I started doing entrepreneurship, I realized that the more attractive I could be, the better opportunities I may have. So I call it bringing Gen X back, trying to slim myself down to be as more attractive to people as possible. I don't want my weight to be distracting. However, that's me. And that's the way I've been able to navigate it. Because my mother was really on my weight and my parents were, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to lose some weight. I thought, oh, giving that to someone is a gift. So I had a friend that was overweight. And I said, you got to lose this. It's not good for you. And it really stressed her out. And she responded greatly. She said, hey, if you care about me, stop criticizing me. Because sometimes criticism throws people into worse habits. And you just have to think about, in your life, are you fat? What are you trying to do? Because I worked with dancers in entertainment a lot. And dancers who have arguably perfect bodies, athletic bodies, would get criticized for their weight. There is no end to the criticism. And then even the ones that were attractive would worry about retaining that attractiveness, and they'd have this anxiety about it. So when you are looking at your life, ask yourself what story you are trying to tell, and then think about your lifestyle. I tell people I wear cardigan sweaters and I remain clean shaven because, like Mr. Rogers, I am not a threat to you. That's my signifier to the world that, hey, I'm a nice guy, I'm approachable, I'm not scary. And as far as weight is concerned, I feel that I am better lighter. I feel that when I don't have a belly that sits and crunches, I don't feel sick. I feel good. When I weigh less than 200 pounds, I really feel amazing. And so I'm always struggling with that. But that comes with cost. That comes with me constantly thinking about what I'm eating. That comes with me not wanting to eat at restaurants, because that's a huge way to balloon your weight, to expand your stomach, to allow you to eat more and want more food, more rich food. So I really try to stay away from that, which makes me no fun. I remember not having time for exercise. I remember working so much that I was so sad that what I would do is I'd go to fast food for joy. That lifestyle can lead to you being overweight. And that's a struggle. You're just adding to your struggle. Now, maybe that Taco Bell is the best thing in your life. So I'm not going to ask you to give up the best thing in your life. When you are looking at your life, ask yourself what story you are trying to tell, and then ask yourself, what life are you trying to lead? Because that story, I worked in theater and entertainment. I've seen casts. We make decisions on casting in ways that we can quickly tell a story. So the young thin girl is an ingenue. It's just an easy way to say, oh, someone would be attracted to her, and then you build a love story around that. The mother is always less attractive than the romantic lead. But if you have the mother looking more attractive than the daughter, then what story are you trying to tell? I worked with a director once, and she was all of the people that she could have cast, all the men were young men. And she said, I'm tired of all these hot dog boys. And what she was looking for was that girth and musculature that comes with a man over 25. And her cast just didn't have that. Am I the hot girl? Am I the mom? Do you want to be the muscular guy? Well, build muscles. Do you want to be the thin guy? Well, build that. Do you want to be the trucker, rough and tumble guy? Maybe you can wear some more weight with that. And all these things are arguably what we automatically perceive. We can try to fight the stereotypes, but the stereotypes are there for a reason. We're attracted to people that are fit, look young, healthy. This judgment that we have of others, it just leads to, I guess we like fighting amongst ourselves. We like that. We have to feel alive that way. But I don't see it as a positive thing. So when you have this statue of this black woman and I see her, I don't see her as obese. She's got a body type. She's got weight on her. She's wearing clothes that I would see in a leisurely society that we live in now. We don't really live in a button-up society. I don't have a suit and tie on. I'm wearing a t-shirt and a cardigan. I'm casual. We're kind of a casual society now. So she's not dressed up. She may not be wearing a bra. I don't know. I don't know what story the artist was trying to tell. But if that offends you, I guess you could talk about it. Or, like I was asking on another podcast, when do you hold your tongue? Does it really matter? Does your anger at how someone looks really matter? My mother was very judgmental about clothing. My mother was very insistent that I needed to wear extra large shirts. She liked the baggy look, and I had a little bit of fat on me. She didn't want to see that. My wife was insistent that I wore large shirts. So for the time that I was married and my mother was alive, I couldn't buy my own clothes, and I kept having to get clothes in extra large and get criticized by either my mother or my wife. It's no fun. That is no fun. So I live alone to stay away from that criticism. I get to choose my own clothes. This statue, if it were a real woman, she gets to choose her own clothes. What life is she leading? Does she go to an office job like that? I don't know. Does the office have a problem? I live in Los Angeles. That statue's in New York. New York tends to be a little more button-up of a society. Los Angeles is really free. So I don't see the problem. Now, there are things that I don't enjoy looking at, so I just don't look at them. But I'm not going to insult somebody over it. It doesn't matter. The last thing I wanted to say is I have this feeling of social responsibility that I carry with me, that my parents gave me, that my grandfather gave me, but not everybody has that. And we're always fighting over me versus the society around us. So if you're a bigger person, how responsible are you for how much space you take up on public transit, in airlines? This is something that concerns me, but I'm not going to force someone else to concern themselves with that because that could just make them sad. So when I get on a plane, I'm 6'2". I try not to fly a lot because it is very uncomfortable for me. I'm in coach because I can't afford first class, and I can do half of the country of the US. I can't go from LA to New York in one stretch. My legs just won't handle it. My shoulders are about as wide as a coach seat. So if I had any more weight on me, I would be in people's way more. And I try to make myself as small as possible. Now, do you have to do this? No. Do you have to have concern for your neighbors? No, but it's nice, I think. So I try to make myself as small as possible. I try to carry as little weight, extra weight on me to make myself as small as possible in these places that are built for smaller people. But if you are overweight or obese, am I telling you can't fly in a plane? Am I telling you I won't sit next to you? That just seems mean. When you're asking yourself, are you fat? Or you're asking another person, are they fat? Also ask yourself, are you being mean? Are you being mean to yourself? Are you being mean to that other person? Because being mean really is not so productive, I've found. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Thanks.